Shreveport City Councilman Michael Corbin. Happy New Year, Michael. How you been, man?
Happy New Year. Good to talk with you.
Thank you for joining us. Erin waving her little fingers already.
Well, I'm really disappointed because I thought I would get invited into the studio. I heard there was a great donut buffet and there was a blonde that would be whispering a nickname in my ear.
Michael, okay, can we hang up? We got bad connection. We can't hear you.
As we tend to say, we'll edit this out for the syndicated network feed.
There were 7 council members at the meeting yesterday. That was kind of unusual. Were you surprised that Stephanie Lynch showed up?
We did have a full house, and I was glad to see it.
What are we going to do to change the rules with regard to attendance at council meetings? Are you going to propose anything?
Do they need to be changed?
Well, I've heard rumor that there may be a council member who put some legislation forward early in 2017. At this point, I don't plan on putting any out there. I think we'll just see how it all shakes out.
Is she doing her job as a council member?
She says that her constituents are happy, and there have been no constituents address the council or call me as an individual council member and say, hey, we need your help. So, I think that kind of puts everything in a dilemma. My constituents in District D would not be happy if I was not at meetings and staying current and engaging with the mayor and staff.
But pardon me, Mike, so much of what the city council does goes beyond individual council districts and affects everybody as a whole. And I guess you could use the mayor's garbage fee as an example. Do you think that occasionally Stephanie's absences may be a little detrimental?
If you miss a presentation or you miss some things that are happening fast, then yes, it does put you at a disadvantage. And I agree with that fully. I mean, there are conversations, there are presentations that happen at council meetings that I think are very important to our job. And if you're not there, it's hard to go back and engage on that with all the information.
She made a comment to us about a month ago with regard to, and I'm quoting her now. I have the audio, but it's too long to play. But this perfect attendance council, she was being, a little bit critical. Should have never put this $12 garbage tax, she called it, on the agenda. Well, maybe had she been there, she could have had an impact on that. Your response and hearing that criticism, I know you've heard it probably.
Well, and there are some on the council with perfect attendance. I certainly don't have perfect attendance. I've missed 2 or 3 meetings due to vacation or work-related duties. But the garbage tax, for one thing, that was part of the mayor's budget that was presented. That was not something that council added to an agenda. It was going to be there regardless. And as it played out, it didn't get passed, and that's fine. But that's not a very good example, and it is certainly something that she could have been there and weighed her opinions in on more effectively if she were at the meeting.
Do you know, she told us, we've heard a lot of things about she works out of town, her job's assigned her out of town. She denied that yesterday in our conversation. Do you know anything about what's taking her away from the meetings? Is it a personal issue? Has she explained anything to y'all?
No, not at all. I don't know anything, and she has not offered up any information to me as a council member.
Where do we go from here? Does it need to be a charter change? Could it be rules? Would you vote for it if it was put on the agenda?
Well, I think that the conversation, if it starts early in 2017, then we can do it through council rules. You bring up the charter, and that's a good thing. We need to look at the city charter as well because there's some changes that need to be made. But for this specific incident, I think we can deal with it through council rules if the majority of the council wants to do that. And I think we have to be sure that we don't overreact to one situation. We have to put some rules in effect that will not be so restrictive that it creates additional problems down the road.
Mr. Mike, Miss Stephanie had used the terms Uncle Tom and Oreo and
Sellouts.
Assuming for the moment that when she was using those terms, she wasn't talking about, like you or Oliver Jenkins or what's the term, white guys. Who do you think she was talking about, and what's the scuttlebutt among the council people about those remarks?
Well, I think that her remarks that she's made in council meeting have shown those that she's willing to work with and those that she's not. I would say that she and outgoing Chairman Bradford maybe have a bit of a contentious relationship. But when you get to the point of name calling, I just ignore it, and that's not really a part of the process, and that's not doing anything good to help the citizens that we represent and to make our city better.
Not that you would know this, I certainly have absolutely no idea, and this is sort of a wonkish question. What's the procedure, what's the process for, can you impeach a city council person?
There are state rules that allow that to happen. It's very difficult in our state. It starts with a petition and verifying names on that petition and a lot of steps. There have been very few people who have made it through that process. And, Ms. Lynch said in an interview yesterday, I think, that, she has been an elected official for 12 or 13 years, longer than anybody on the council. I think it comes back to how do you view term limits and how long should you serve and what should you do? Maybe it's time to have some other options for that district. But again, the citizens in that district will be the ones that decide things like that.